essential. It's very, very expensive. Diamond, gold, all the jewels. Why are they expensive? While water, which is very essential to human life, very cheap. And as I said, I'll be explaining from the economist's perspective or the economist's view. And they explain this thing by the concept in economics known as consumer utility. When you say utility, utility is basically means satisfaction. Utility basically means satisfaction. And for you to be able to understand utility very well, I'll be doing this analysis. Let's take it that you are consuming water, you're very, very thirsty, and you have to consume a glass of water. You know, initially when they give you the glass of water, you are going to at least gulp it.
Okay.
Do you get it? You are going to gulp it. But when they give you a second water, that's when you do a normal drinking. The first time when you are given that first glass of water, you know you're very, very thirsty, so you are going to gulp it. You've got that.
As in, take all of them at a go.
At a go.
Okay.
With the second one, you are going to drink it at least slowly, and with third and other subsequent glasses of water, you then start sipping it. Ask yourself, why does it go that? Why does it go that way? This is because of utility. You know, the first one, because you are very, very thirsty, you are going to take it inside. But because of satisfaction, the first one is going to satisfy something. So the pleasure of taking the second one, though you might still be thirsty, but the pleasure of taking the second one will be reduced.
Okay.
So the economics explain these two using total utility and marginal utility. The marginal utility is the measure of that pleasure or that satisfaction you are taking from the water, and the total utility is the water as a whole. So you know you are taking 3 glasses of water. Even as you drink those 3, it means that your total utility is what? The 3 glasses of water already in your body. But your marginal utility is the pleasure that you are taking, the satisfaction that you are deriving from these glasses of water. So basically that's utility explained from the layman's view.
Okay. And
the economist has a law which states that even as the total utility increases, the marginal utility decreases. Even as the total utility increases, the marginal utility decreases. Why? Because the pleasure in taking the subsequent ones will gradually diminish. So with this law, we are coming to explain why education at the moment is very expensive, and also why water, which is essential to human life, is cheap, while jewels are very expensive. So we start with the first one. Why is education expensive? Basically because there are too many graduates. This is the basic reason from the economist's view. Because there are too many people who are going to the job market. Because there are too many people, it means the amount of people, the number of people who will be going to the job market are always coming in. Let's take it with a glass of water. The first one, you know, there's been a graduate 1990. There's been graduates 1991. So day in, day out, the amount of graduates, you know, schools are springing in at all nooks and crannies of the country. So, and these people are always graduating. Even as graduates are increasing, it means that the marginal utility, don't forget that we've already said that even as total utility increases, the marginal utility will decrease.
Okay.
So we have a whole lot of people coming in. We have a whole lot of people coming in as graduates into the job market. That means the total utility for graduates are increasing, but their marginal utility, that means the satisfaction that the workers, that producers are deriving from them, are decreasing. That is the marginal utility. Therefore, since there are too many graduates in the system, you don't expect the government to be bringing in scholarships like the olden days so as to bring more graduates. Okay. Because even if they come, it's the total utility that are going to increase, not the marginal utility which you're interested in. That's basically the reason why education is expensive. It's natural. It's not that the government has increased the whole thing. And don't forget that economics is the study of human behavior natural in the natural environment. Because graduates are too many, that means the marginal utility, the satisfaction that the government is deriving, the satisfaction that producers are deriving from them, is going to decrease. Marginal utility decrease. Now you can't see the second one after. The second one is, why is water, which is very essential to human life, cheap? while jewels and the rest is very expensive. It's because we consume more and more of water. We consume more and more of water because it's very essential. And even as we consume more, that means our total utility is increasing. But the economist or the average person, no matter what, is not interested in the total utility. It's interested in the marginal utility. And we are willing to pay the price for the marginal utility, the last marginal utility consumed. Even as we consume more of the water, it means that, let's say you buy water, you've got 5 sachets of water. You drink the first one, the second one, the third one. When you reach about the third one, you see that you then be satisfied. That is when you've reached the saturation point. And at the point that you are satisfied, that means you are saturated. Your total utility is at its maximum, but your marginal utility will then be 0, because you don't have the additional pleasure to consume more. Because your marginal utility for water then is decreasing as you drink more and more of water, then you then be willing to pay less for water, because the marginal utility has decreased or is at its lowest. You then be willing to pay very less for water. But let's see, jewels, diamonds, golds, they are stuff that are very difficult to come by. They are not that in the system. So today you go and buy, let's ask ourselves, how many times do we see diamonds? Some of us, we've not even seen gold before. And how many times are we going to consume such things? Are we going to use them? Hardly do we use them. So that means, since we don't use more of them, your total utility for that one is not at its maximum, or it's not that increasing. Then it means your marginal utility for the diamond or the gold will then be very high comparing to water, which you've consumed more. Because we hardly consume the diamond, that means our marginal utility for the diamond is will then be very high. And if marginal utility is high, then we'll be willing to pay that price. So that's it. Prices go with our marginal utility, and the last marginal utility determines your last price. So a recap of all that I said. Basically, all that we pay for our marginal utility, not for our total utility. So if you consume more water, that means our marginal utility is decreasing, and the last marginal utility consumed will be the amount that you'll be willing to pay. And since you have consumed more water, it means you pay less price. We are consuming less diamond, we pay higher price for it. And that's it basically.
Okay, thank you very much. Coming from Douglas Opoku on the lecture theatre segment. It's your community watch on Focus 943, 60 minutes after 20. In a short while, coming up for discussion, as Bismarck Osei Champong and the rest of the crew join us up here, will be the upcoming NPP Congress and who you think is very likely to make it. John Alan Kojo Tremanting, Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, Professor Asamoah Frimpong Boateng, and lawyer John Kwame Kundua, as well as Honorable Isaac Osa. Which of them do you think is likely to make it? Bismarck Osei Champong tell us in a short while. He's the public relations officer of Tescon NPPK and UST. But Bismarck, we are told that corruption index in the east of Africa has come out, and Burundi has overtaken Kenya relative to the last index. Bismarck.
Yeah, the news is that according to the Transparency International, they sample views of 5 East African countries. And the countries are Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. And according to the Corruption Perception Index, which is normally used in assessing whether a country is corruption-free or not, Burundi, the country being ruled by President Pierre Nkurunziza, topped the list as the most corrupt country in the East African sub-region. The second country is Uganda. Kenya, which happens to be the former first country, is now third